Brian here at the Edge Pro. I want to look at the #1 wear item on a detachable blade clipper. Anybody, if you are a groomer, if you are a stylist, beautician, barber, anybody who's using a detachable blade clipper, your clipper is going to have a blade drive, and that's the #1 wear component on there. Not having a good blade drive, having one that has some wear in it, can cause a lot of issues in terms of performance of that tool and actually cutting the hair cleanly. So it's important that we change that regularly. If you are a professional groomer, if you're grooming 5 days a week, 8 hours a day, you need to be changing that blade drive at least every 30 days. If you're not, then you can adjust those numbers accordingly there. The blade drive is the piece on a detachable blade clipper. It is the piece that when you turn the clipper on with no blade, it's the piece that's actually moving. This particular clipper is black. There are other clippers that have different colors. And each clipper is going to be a little bit unique in exactly what that lever drive piece is. But there are a lot of similarities, and it's important to know how to change yours or to have someone do that for you regularly. Obviously, you can read your instruction manual, but just like me, you probably didn't do that and got rid of it right away. So if you've forgotten that, don't have that, and want to change your blade drive, I'm going to walk you through a lot of the common clippers that we work with and how to change those blade drives. First off here, we have an Andis. Pretty much all Andis clippers use the exact same blade drive mechanism, and so changing that blade drive mechanism is almost identical for all Andis clippers. So I've got several varieties here. Again, there's way more out there than I could possibly show on camera here, but there's several here. We've got a Andis Pulse 02. This is a newer, one of the newest offerings from Andis called the Merge. We've got some old corded clippers. We have the AGC here. They made both an AGC as well as a BGC clipper, very similar tool. That's one as well. And an SMC, very popular clipper that's been around for a long time. Very common tool. And again, all of these clippers use the same blade drive, and they're all going to be changed in almost the exact same manner. So the first thing is that we need to access that blade drive. And so in most cases, on most of the clippers, most Andis clippers, that's going to be removing the drive cap. This one, there's a couple of tabs right on the side. You just squeeze those and pull straight out. That can vary slightly from clipper to clipper, but just remove that blade drive cover, and we will have access then to the blade drive mechanism itself. And so at that point, there are 2 screws. This is a #1 Phillips. So I'm going to use a powered screwdriver. You can certainly do this by hand here. Just going to remove these 2 screws. Then, to remove the blade drive, it's easiest one of 2 things. #1, you can see this bearing right in the center. This bearing right here, if that bearing is at its lowest point, it makes it a little easier to remove. Or one of the things that we could do is we could take the hinge off. I'll show you that in a moment. Taking that hinge off allows us a little better access. It's not necessary, but it does allow a little better access. But with that blade, the screws removed, you can use I like to use just a little flat screwdriver just to get underneath that blade drive. And you can get right underneath this edge and just pop up the 2 corners, kind of right where the screw holes are. And it will then lift out, kind of pivot out from the hinge there if the hinge was still on there. I do like, in some cases, removing the actual hinge. To do that, you are going to need to switch to a #2 Phillips. This is a larger Phillips size, so you are going to need a different screwdriver here to remove the hinge. But if you remove the hinge, there's 2 screws. The hinge comes off. Most clippers then, they're going to have what's called the lock keeper. That's going to come off, and that gives you full access here to the end of the clipper. the motor mechanism, that cam bearing and everything that's on there. And taking that blade drive off is very, very easy now because there's nothing inhibiting in my way. I do like doing this a lot of times because it's very common to have hair build up around this bearing and around this cam. So it allows you easy access to get in here and clean this out. Always a good idea to do that while you're changing that. Your brand new blade drive then, they do come from Andis with just a little bit of grease added in there. Not real imperative, but it is there. No need to remove it. No need to add it if it isn't there. That's not really a big deal. The two things to note on this, we've got a close-up here, is that on this blade drive, there are two small tabs circled in red, both on the left and the right side. And those two tabs need to line up with the slots in the front of the motor right here. And those are circled as well. So when I install a new blade drive on the Andis clipper, I'm simply going to slide those two tabs in those little slots. They will press straight down. And at that point, there are two small pinholes, little plastic that stick up through these tiny little holes in the front, and then the screw holes that line up here. And I just make sure that that seats down fully. Those tabs, we can see there in the close-up, that those tabs are fully inserted into those slots where they belong. And then we can simply reinstall the two screws back with our #1 Phillips bit to reinstall those screws. As long as we made sure that that is completely flat down against that motor mechanism on there where those screw holes are is fully seated. Then we just reinstall those screws. And if we have removed the hinge, then we can reinstall that at this point. If you have a lock keeper, put that back, and then your hinge itself, and then two screws, put your hinge back on. Reinstall your drive cap, and your clipper's good to go. Reinstalling your blade, just simply slide it on the tongue and relatch. Let's take a look at some other clippers, common ones we're gonna see here. These two clippers here, very old design, still manufactured today, but very old designs. These particular clippers have been around a while, but this is an Oster 76. Commonly used in the barber beauty industry. This is an Oster A5, commonly used in the animal industry. Changing the blade drive on these is going to be the exact same process, no matter which style of clipper you have here. First thing is going to be accessing that blade drive, and so there's two screws on the top of the clipper. Just like this one, the older ones, they may have these slotted screws. The newer ones may have a Phillips head on there, but just two screws. To remove that top cover, that will come off, and that gives us access now to the blade drive lever itself, as well as a piece that's called the link. It's this metal piece here. And to remove this blade drive lever, just take a screwdriver, a little flat screwdriver, is a nice little pry bar here, to slide this off. It has to come off of both of these posts, and so we have to slide that straight up. Wiggle it up a little bit. You can grab a hold of the front of it, kind of wiggle it back and forth. It'll come off, slides off both of those. Good opportunity to check your link if there is a lot of slop. When you try to move this link back and forth, if there's a lot of slop where that link slides onto this gear, sorry, my hands are in the way there. Here the link is removed. If there's a lot of slop when you put that on here, and if this link, if it moves around back and forth, then that link should be replaced as well as part of that drive mechanism. But otherwise, it's just the lever itself. And so if we have a brand new drive lever, we just simply reinstall. We just line up those two holes slide it straight down, and then reinstall the cover plate. And that's done. Some other really popular clippers are the Oster, both the Oster Volt as well as the Octane. The Oster Volt is the animal version. The Oster Octane is the human version, as well as the Heiniger Sapphire. And we lump all of these together because internally, these are all the same. Cosmetically, they're different on the outside, but internally, they're all the same. They're all made by Heiniger. These two are private labeled for Oster with their own packaging and such, but internally it's the same clipper. So when we refer to the Oster Volt, the Oster Octane, or the Heiniger Sapphire, it's all the same sort of thing. So inside, we've got to take the blade off. There's going to be several screws to remove from the bottom.
Good to talk to you, buddy.
With the screws off, then we just simply lift that top cover of the housing off. That gives us access to the entire inside of this clipper. We have a couple pieces here to remove. There is a rubber seal, hangs on those two little pegs through those tiny little holes we see. If you have an older style Volt or Octane clipper, they used a closed hinge like this. You will need to remove that hinge in order to get the lever out. The newer style uses an open version, and so you don't have to remove the hinge itself. Same two screws that are in the housing hold the hinge on there. But if your hinge is open at the top, you won't need to remove that unless you want to. At that point, a little flat screwdriver again is helpful. Simply just to wiggle, pry underneath, and you're sliding this lever off of, there's a post here that slides on as well as the bearing in the back. So just simply pry straight up. There is a foam seal around that lever, so that comes off. Good opportunity to inspect this bearing. That it's in good shape, that it's rotating freely and on there. Then we can reinstall our new lever. We'll reinstall the foam seal onto that lever and then slide that lever down on that post, that pivot post, as well as the bearing in the back. Just push straight down. Reinstall the rubber seal on the front and then simply reinstall the cover and the hinge with the appropriate screws. If you have a different Heiniger clipper called the Opal, we don't have one of those currently right now that I can show you. We are going to have a link to that later. So you can click on that link if you do have an Opal, and we'll update that information as we have it so we can show you how to change that lever. Other common clippers are going to be from Wahl. Wahl, it's going to be in their KM series, is most of their detachable blade tools. There are a lot of varieties of these, both corded and cordless, but changing the blade drive is going to be the same process on any of the clippers. It's going to be much like the other clippers. We're going to remove the blade itself, and then there's going to be a few housing screws in there. I have seen some of these over the years that were a Phillips. I've also seen some of these that were Torx. That's what these are, is a T10. So it just kind of depends on the vintage and model as to exactly what those screws are. But when those screws are removed, the top housing will lift off. Then you have access to that drive lever. Little flat screwdriver works as a good pry bar just to lift up. That'll slide off of that center post as well as around the bearing in the back. The hinge is open at the top, so you don't need to really remove that hinge to get to it. And then we've got a brand new fresh drive lever to reinstall there. Then simply put the housing back on top and reinstall the screws. So hopefully you found this information helpful. Changing your blade drive lever is important to do and to do frequently. And that is something that most people, if you have a screwdriver, can handle. So hopefully this has been helpful, and you can go to whichever clipper you have and get good directions on how to do that. If you have more questions on your clipper or other repair questions, feel free to contact us. We do service a lot of clippers, and happy to try to answer your questions there.